Socialism. Because standing in lines for flour and toilet paper will bring our nation closer together and tug at the heartstrings of equality. The Kate Daly Show starts now.
I used to believe everything I'd see on the news, but that's before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. But thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day. When my disregard for third-grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
For more information, visit tryabrain.com.
You're listening to the Kate Daly Show on a Friday. Really glad to have you listening and aboard today. Got a lot of content, a lot of stuff to learn today, and I promise you this is going to be a good one. So I welcome you. Go to katedalyradio.com for links to my sponsors who keep me on the air, and also the podcasts, which are so important to share because we need to have an educated country to fight any of this. And so far, we just need to do a better job. There's a lot of brainwashing going on, and I just love that clip coming in. Trevor Loudin is my guest, and I'm so happy to have him. He's been on the show many times, actually, over the last 8 years, and I'm really happy to have you. How are you, Trevor?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me, Kate.
You betcha. So our New Zealander, and will you tell people how you kind of got interested in the Americana politics, if you will?
Well, I spend a lot of time. I'm getting a lot of reverb.
Let me try see if that works a little better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Look, it started in New Zealand. I met a New Zealander who had infiltrated our local Communist Party for our security services, and he trained in Moscow. He learned how to manipulate the political process in Western countries. And what he basically told me was this. Anytime the Democrats are in power, they take the cues from the unions. They adopt the policies of the unions, but the communists control the unions. So when the Democrats are in power, the communists are dictating the policy agenda. And that is Obamacare, open borders, fracking bans, pipeline shutdowns, energy starvation, all of that. So that got me studying American politics because he said America is the #1 enemy of the communists. And they have heavily infiltrated the Democratic Party and other institutions in America. Mm-hmm. And their goal is an American revolution. And that's what's happening. That's what's unfolding right now, unfortunately.
Are unions more powerful in being instrumental in the agenda changes, or is it the think tanks, or is it both?
Well, the think tanks have a lot to do with it, but the unions have the muscle. You know, if you're a Democrat, you don't get elected unless you've got the unions behind you.
Okay.
Unless, they give you volunteers, they put up yard signs for you, they give you lots of money, so you take their policy direction. And I'll give you a really graphic example of this.
Okay.
30 years ago, the biggest force in America, 30 years ago, the Democrats and the unions were both openly opposed to illegal immigration. Harry Reid and Bill Clinton would go on and on about the disaster of illegal immigration, how bad it was for workers. But in 1995, the Marxists took over the AFL-CIO, the main union body in America. They put their man in John Sweeney as president. Then they flipped the policy from opposition to illegal immigration to complete support for it. Because what they wanted was a whole bunch of new voters coming across the border. So the unions 100% flipped their policy, and the Democrats followed on exactly behind them. That should be a good example that every American can understand.
Yeah.
Just think, when I was a kid, why did the unions stand against the illegals? Because they took union jobs, they broke strikes, they lowered wages, but then all of a sudden the unions split because the unions were taken over by the Marxists, and the Democrats followed along.
Okay. All right. You have done extensive work on Kamala. You have a new book coming out. When is that coming out?
That's coming out it's very urgent in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Excellent.
We haven't got a finalised date, but it'll be very, very soon. We're just putting the finishing touches on it now. We keep finding more stuff.
Oh, I
and
bet you do.
it's called Stealth: Kamala Harris's Communist Roots. So it's about Kamala and a chapter on Tim Walz as well.
Okay. So you, about a year and a half before Kamala, or about a year, I think it was, before Kamala became the VP, you said on my show she will be in because somewhere in the White House because of the fact that she had Obama's people behind her. And you were right. And at the time we thought, how are they going to do that? How would they maneuver that? Because she couldn't even get 1% of her own party to be with her, to vote for her or support her, because she was so hated and such an embarrassment. So now, looking at the sudden Biden out, Kamala in, give me all your thoughts on Kamala and the people behind her.
Well, look, this goes way back to the 80s. Jesse Jackson ran for president twice on the Rainbow Coalition. The Rainbow Coalition was the idea that you get the progressive whites and the progressives of color to form a rainbow coalition that can form a majority, progressive black, progressive Latino, and this is their terminology, not mine.
Okay.
Well, they got behind the same Marxists that were behind Jesse Jackson. They were pro-Chinese communists, mainly from the League of Revolutionary Struggle. They are the same people who got a whole bunch of money and got behind Obama to beat Hillary Clinton in the early primaries in 2008. And Obama ran on that exact same rainbow coalition strategy. Progressive whites, progressives of color, young people, whatever, that coalition. Well, that same coalition gave us Stacey Abrams. It gave us Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey. It gave us Andrew Gillum, who almost won the governorship of Georgia. All of these came out of the Maoist pro-Chinese communist movement. And the same people made Kamala Harris. Exactly the same people. They got her the Attorney General's job in San Francisco. They got her the DA's job in San Francisco, the Attorney General of California, Senator from California, then on the ticket. So I could predict that because I was following this little Maoist clique that's working at the highest levels of the Democratic Party. And I knew she's the perfect rainbow coalition candidate. Part white, part black, part Asian, female.
Yeah.
She's the female Obama. The only problem is she's unlikable and inarticulate. But that's secondary. It's all about motivating the minorities and running progressives of color. This is the Maoist formula. She's put in place by pro-Chinese communists.
So why are Obama and Michelle, why are they not then supporting her as president? Why are they not outwardly coming with their support?
Well, they both gave speeches in her favor at the DNC.
Right. I just meant early on. Just seems
initially, I think they wanted, because Kamala was supposed to be one in 2018, 2020, and I said that, but she flamed out so badly that I think they had second thoughts about her. But she came back, and I think they really wanted someone like Gretchen Whitmer or someone like that.
Right.
But then Joe Biden, as a parting shot, basically endorsed her, and they had no choice left. They couldn't really go against that. So though she had fallen out of favor somewhat, this is all they have left. So they're going to, and as she says in her own words, the only way I can win is by rejuvenating the Obama coalition, meaning the Rainbow Coalition, that Jesse Jackson got the idea for that off the Black Panthers. That's the real origin of this whole idea.
All right. And then also Steve Phillips. That is a Marxist Leninist, right? Member of the pro. Yeah. Okay. Talk about that too, because there's lots of people behind her, but that's one, right? You wrote about Steve.
Yeah, he's probably the key guy. Like Steve Phillips was a member of the League of Revolutionary Struggle at Stanford University. This is a Maoist group. Okay. And he was Jesse Jackson's West Coast student organizer for 1984 and 88. He learned a lot from the Rainbow Coalition. But when he left college, he married into one of the richest families in San Francisco, the Sandler family, the Golden West Savings and Loan Fortune. And they put $1.3 billion into the progressive movement, into the Democracy Alliance, Center for American Progress, ProPublica, etc. And Steve Phillips became their emissary and the man who doled out the money. So he was working with Soros and Tom Steyer and the Democracy Alliance, and he was the one who organized the $10 million that got Obama ahead of Hillary Clinton in the 2008 primaries. His wife, Susan Sandler, was the first big donor to Barack Obama. And then, so he was the one, he's known Kamala Harris for 20 years. Kamala's radical sister was a student radical at Stanford when Steve Phillips was there. Steve Phillips helped Kamala's brother-in-law, Tony West, get the job at number 3 in the Justice Department under Eric Holder in the Obama thing. Steve Phillips, the mega wealthy billionaire Maoist, an actual Maoist, Marxist-Leninist, Mao Zedong thought Maoist, was the one who made Kamala Harris. She is completely his protege. His money made her, just like his money made Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey.
So all the marketing, the new marketing plan to make her look very AI, and the fact that she won't have a press conference or anything,
exactly.
That's all coming from this group. Yeah,
it is all coming from the Democracy Alliance. See, the Democracy Alliance, which Steve Phillips is a part of, is a network of left-wing billionaires. You have to donate at least $200,000 a year to the progressive movement to even belong.
Okay.
And
I'm going to stop you right there. We're going to pick it up right after the break. And how does he feel about this election? What's his projection on this election? Projection. Be right back. Kate Daly Show. More with Trevor Loudin when we come back.